Alright guys, we're back to working on the Studebaker, and today we're doing brakes, and we're also going to get the fuel tank installed. We're putting a new fuel tank in the back of the truck, so stick around. Alright guys, got our brake lines attached to the caliper here. The only way I'm going to be able to do this and have them not get stuck in the spring and stuff is I'm going to have to bring it around the front. I'm going to weld it. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, I'm going to bring it around here. I'm going to put the bracket right here. Oh, excuse me. So this will go here. And then we'll run this. The brake line will come out and down the back side of that cross member over to the other side is the plan anyway. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see them because I painted them black, but we got our brackets mounted down in there. We'll stick this up in there. You'll be able to see it. So this will go in here. Can you see that? There it is. It's right there. Anyway, don't know how well you can see it, but I got that one done. Got this one done. Not much life. And I painted them, so I just got to wait for them to dry. As soon as they get done drying, then I'm going to come out and put the clips on them. But in the meantime, we're going to start getting the proportioning valve mounted, which needs to go up underneath on the frame. Alright guys, so I can't show you much underneath there because it's hard to get the camera under there doing these brake lines, but I'm going to show it to you when we're done. So anyway, this is our end. We're doing these stainless steel marine grade brake lines so they don't corrode. And I got this fancy tool to do the double crimp, so I'm going to show you how that works because this is a pretty cool deal. If you've ever used one of the old style, this is so much easier. Okay, so of course the first thing you've got to do, put your end on there. And then we have this die that goes in here. You find the right size. We're going to dial this back to this OP0. Make sure we have our die in there the right way. You want it on this beveled side. And we put the brake line in there. And push it out against the die. And this comes over. Locks your die into place. Now we don't want to clamp this all the way down yet. Just snug a little. Then you pull your handle and that brings it flush. Your die and your brake line where it needs to be. Then you can cinch this down, and it doesn't have to be like over tight. So then on here we're doing a 3/16 line, so we're going to find the 3/16 option 1. Let's see, that's option 2. If I can remember which one's the green one's option 1. So that's option 1 on 3/16, and you just bring that back, and it takes a little effort. You pull that, then you go to 3/16 option 2, which is this one here, and you pull it back again like so, and that's it. You have a double flare brake line, and it's perfect every time. Has a little piece of metal in there I need to clean out, so you can see. I hope that's focusing on it. It's a double flared brake line, so that easy. Like I say, if you've ever used one of the old style, after using this you'd never go back to that. Okay, we're gonna go get this put on. Alright guys, it's a pretty tight fit to get past the steering rack and through that motor mount, but we got it. Now we just got to go back to the proportioning valve and hook it up there, and then hook the brake line to the frame. Alright guys, so I'm going to update you on this brake situation here. What we've got going on the old Studebaker, I've got the brake lines all ran. I didn't show a lot of that because I was laying on my back underneath there on a creeper, and it's pretty hard to show while you're doing it. So I'm just going to do a quick overview of what I've done so that you can see it. So here we go. So we've got our braided brake lines here coming off, and they go into, let me get this up off here, stainless steel here, and they run all the way back. They're that way on both sides, and they run all the way back to the proportioning valve, which is right over here underneath the driver's seat. And I'm going to get down there right now and show that to you. Alright guys, so I'm hoping you can see what's going on here. The two front brake lines run through up here, down this way, through here, proportioning valve. Ended up replacing this master cylinder and booster. I had one under here before, but I was hoping it was okay, but it wasn't. I tried to bleed them and no pressure to the rear brakes, so we had to replace that. That's probably why the rear brakes weren't working before, so figured that out. But got our for our stop lights here, and then this comes back. It goes back to here, and that block, which goes down to each of the rear calipers. And we have brakes, so I need to bleed the brakes out a little bit better, but I do have brake pedal. I just haven't had anybody to help me bleed them, so I'm gonna get my boy out here, and he's gonna help me bleed these brakes here in a while. But in the meantime, I'm gonna start working on the fuel system. So anyway, we'll start doing that next. Yeah, so I thought I'd show you what we got on the inside here. There's our master brake pedal here. You can see it doesn't go all the way to the floor. It could be a lot better. It's going to be better. We gotta get somebody to help us pump them up. I bled them with a vacuum bleeder, but that's as good as it's getting with it. We've got to do an actual bleed on it. So anyway, till I get somebody else to help me, because they're all watching a movie, I'm going to get going on that fuel tank. Alright guys, so we have a Holley Sniper that we're putting on there, the fuel injection. So I've got a Holley Sniper EFI tank that we're going to put underneath the back. In fact, I've already set it up under there to make sure it's going to fit. It's going to be tight, but I think we can make it work. And then down here in this box, I've got all of our goodies for our fuel system. Down here, I've got some AN lines, some black tubing here. I've got fuel pump or fuel filter, more fittings, everything I think we might need fittings, and I'm sure we won't have the right stuff. This is another, this fuel filter, 2 fuel filters. This is to neck our neck down because of the fuel filler I got's a little bit smaller. I've got fuel pump for the tank here. This fuel pump, this fuel sending unit, and a bunch of other doodads and stuff we need to make this happen. So anyway, let's get cracking on this thing and see if we can get a fuel tank in it and a fuel system set up for this thing. Okay, so you can see here, this is the fuel tank we're going to use. I've got it set up underneath there. It's going to hang down a little bit, but I think it's going to be okay. A little lower than what I'd like, but we're going to make it work because it's what we've got. It fits in the budget. There is a piece that's got to go underneath here, so I've got to make sure we're going to clear that. I think we will, but like I say, it's going to be a tight one. Alright guys, so we've assessed this situation, and what I've decided is we put this brace in here when we put the rear end in. We should have just taken this one out because this one's stronger, it's welded solid, this one's just riveted. So I think what we're going to do is to give us a little more clearance, we're going to need to remove this, which is going to be kind of a pain now with the bed on. But that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to have to get to work cutting those bottom rivets off. Figure out how to get to the top one. There's only one in the top. But Mike can get in there with the plasma cutter and cut it out. So that's where we're going to go and see if we can get this thing out of here. And give us a few more inches back here. That way we can slide the fuel tank back. I'm thinking then we can mount our fuel pump or fuel filters and all that right here, and then we'll run everything forward from there to the front of the truck. Make sure, boys and girls, that you wear your safety goggles so your glasses don't get scratched up, because that's what's happened to mine. Alright guys, when all else fails, get the Sawzall. So my plan is, I'm going to see if I can cut these off, and then I'll be able to get in there, hopefully, and get that rivet out of the top one. So that's the plan. Alright guys, we got it out. It wasn't easy getting that top rivet out. Luckily, turned it upside down. Luckily this side over here had that bolt in it, and once I got everything out, the bolt just came out and it dropped right out. It made this side easy. That other side made me work for it, so I'm gonna go to bed, but next time we work on this thing, we're gonna be seeing how that fuel tank will fit up in here and getting it fitted, and then we can get our fuel system ran. Alright guys, welcome back. It's been a day or two since I've had a chance to work on this. We got that brace out of there. Now we're working on this here fuel tank. I'm gonna get the sending unit put in it, which I already cut that off, got it figured out. Fuel pump and the filler tube. So stick around and I'll do my best to show you how I do that. Oh, I have my trusty helper over here too. He's a big help. He loves to get in the way. Alright, here we go. Stay back. Alright, first things first, which I usually don't do, but I didn't do that with the sending unit and I had to redo it. So we're going to take a minute to read the instructions. Alright, so we got this cut off. It says to cut it at an angle. So it's just off the bottom of the tank, which we did. And now we need this pump put the sock to basically be just a little bit lower than this pipe is. So that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to figure out how this needs to be cut off to fit in there. Alright, so our tank's 10.5 deep. This pump's 5 1/4. So it needs to sit 5 1/4 from here. So I'm thinking we should need to cut that there. And that would put our pump on there. Alright guys, so I couldn't find a hose clamp, so I'm going to have to pick one up tomorrow. When I used that, I thought to myself, man, it's good I found one. I'll have to remember to grab one of those, and you know how that goes. 2, 4, 5, one more. Old pesky here still in my way. Hey, back up. Back up. No. Get out. Alright guys, so I'm going to bring you up to speed here. We got that clamp, got the fuel pump put in. This is our hose. This is the hose that's going to feed the fuel to the fuel make it happener thingy. It's a return line, and this is our vent line. Then we've got our wires here. I've got the sending unit and the fuel pump. So we're to the point to where we've got to get this set up under there, see what kind of brackets we need to make, and get it put in. And cut the hole in the bed for the filler. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and get it slid underneath there and get it set up. I'll video that the best I can, but what I'll probably do is get it put in and then just kind of do an overview like this, because it's hard to video underneath the truck, but I'll do the best I can for you. Alright guys, so this is where our gas filler is going to have to go. I kind of wanted it down in one of these, but it just doesn't line up, so it's going to have to go right here. I marked it, drilled a small hole here. Now I'll take this hole saw and we'll just make a round hole in the bed so we can fill it with gas. There we go, just like that. Right here is going to go in there. This pushes down, so it'll just be flush mount. I may end up just painting that black because I don't want it to get all scratched up, but for now I'll just put it in there, put some masking tape over it so it doesn't get scratched, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so we got this installed. This will just screw onto here like that. You get it tight, you push this down, rotate it, it's flush. I'm going to have to put some masking tape over that till we get everything out of the bed. It'll probably end up scratched up anyway. We may end up just scuffing it up and painting it, but it'll do the job. I'm just hoping that dirt doesn't get down in here, which it probably will, but hopefully it won't. And that way we can keep her all sealed up. But anyway, that's what we did. It's just hooked to a hose down here. Hopefully you can see that. Now we just got to build the brackets to put the tank up in. We'll be moving on to fuel lines. Alright guys, so I need a bigger plate than what I have to make that mount, so I'm going to weld these two plates together so that I have enough space to do it. For what we're doing, this will be more than strong enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and weld these together, and then we'll build our mount. Alright guys, so that's what I did. Welded that side solid and ground it off, so it'll be the downside. Spot welded that side in a few places. It's going to be plenty strong to hold that tank up. So we're going to get this mounted up under there. Alright guys, so I decided to put some gussets on there. It's still a little warm. I'm going to set that down, but I didn't want the gas tank falling out when we were going down the road. I think it would have been fine the way it was, but that'll just make sure. And you might ask, why don't you just go buy the right piece of metal? Well, a few reasons. I live way out where I'd have to travel at least a half hour to 45 minutes to pick up a piece of it. Nobody in my direct area within 30 minutes is going to have that. The next thing is, I already have this, it's cheaper. And nobody is going to see this once it's up underneath the vehicle. And painted black, nobody's going to see it. And it's not going to matter. It's not going to make one bit of difference on the finished product. So that's what I'm doing. Alright guys, so we got a gas tank here. See, I just put those plates between the frame rails. Now this one over here is closer than the one on the other side. And it's just so that that fuel and filler neck up here, wherever it is, right? Where'd you go? Right there. For this, so that fuel filler neck will line up with that ridge. Otherwise it would have to been all the way over this way. Had to go one way or the other. It couldn't be in between them. But anyway, I think it's going to work. So now what I've got to do is I'm going to unbolt those brackets, and I'm going to paint them, and then I'll put them back in, and the gas tank will be mounted where it's going to go, and hopefully I won't have to take it out again. Alright guys, so we got these brackets all drilled out, got them hung up here, and now we're just going to paint them. Alright, we'll let those dry and put another coat on them here in a while. Alright guys, so we're getting there slowly but surely. So if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.